Connie the cleric stood over Fred the fighter. It had been a horrible, horrible struggle for her and Wally the wizard and Rachel the rogue to tie up Fred and subdue him and get his hit points down low enough that Wally could finally use sleep on him and knock him out. The problem had been that Fred is always compulsive. He went over and he picked up that big, beautiful, gleaming sword, not realizing that it was cursed and that it was going to have him start going into a berserking rage and attacking his own party. Something had to be done. Had to remove that curse from Fred. Fortunately, Connie the cleric had just the right prayer available for the day. She and her companions, being very careful not to touch the weapon with their bare flesh, they set it there. They couldn't even pull it out of their friend's hands, even with him knocked out. But they had cloths there that they could quickly move it away as soon as the spell had been cast. Connie wove the magical symbols and sigils with her fingers, spoke the words, clutched her holy symbol, and cast greater restoration, and the curse was lifted from Fred, so that when he awoke, he would no longer be under the control of the sword. This, friends, is one of the things that greater restoration can do for you. And this is Divine Thursday. I am your host, DM Gallibond. Today is October 22nd, 2020. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what this spell, Greater Restoration, is all about. All right. Greater Restoration came, or actually, there was no such thing as Greater Restoration. There was just plain Restoration. And that came into the game in first edition, AD&D. Now, level 7 was the highest level of cleric spell that existed in AD&D. So this was an extremely powerful spell. And when a spell casts, the life energy level of the creature is raised upwards by 1. Subsumes previous life energy level drain of the creature by some force or monster. So if a 10th level character had been struck by a wight and drained to 9th, restoration would bring the character back up exactly number of experience points to restore him to 10th level again, and restoring additional hit dice or hit points and level functions accordingly. And restoration is only effective if the spell is cast within 1 day per level of experience of the cleric casting it. Other recipients' loss of life energy. Okay. Complicated way of saying, if you're a 17th level cleric and your fighter has been drained a level by a wight, you have 17 days until you can cast restoration and restore that. Otherwise, if you wait too long, too bad. All right. There is a reverse to this spell, which is called Energy Drain, and that draws away a life energy level. Again, such as what happens when you're touched by a wight. Energy Drain requires the victim to be touched. Restoration spell will also restore the intelligence of a creature affected by a Feeble Mind spell. All right, so Restoration. Pretty good there. Pretty good there in... oh gosh, in first edition. All right, so Restoration, clerical spell. It's a 7th level spell in 2nd edition, and this pretty much does all the same things that it did in 1st edition, including the reversible spell Energy Drain. There you go. Now, 3rd edition, that's where you got gradation of restoration. So you had a restoration spell, which was a 4th level spell. You had a lesser restoration spell, which was a 2nd level spell, and then you had a greater restoration spell, which was a 7th level spell. So it functions like lesser restoration, except it dispels all negative levels afflicting the healed creature. Also reverses level drains by force or creature, restoring creatures the highest level it had previously attained. Drain levels are restored only if the time since the creature lost levels is no more than 1 week per caster level. Okay, Greater Restoration also dispels all magical effects penalizing the creature's abilities, cures all temporary ability damage, and restores all points permanently drained from all ability scores. So the Greater Restoration, it just is carte blanche. It restores everything. Greater Restoration does not restore levels or constitution points lost due to death. Okay, so if your character has died and comes back with lower constitution or lower level, sorry, you don't get that back. Now, Lesser Restoration dispels any magical effects suffered by one of the ability scores, such as Ray of Effacement, or cures one d4 points of temporary ability damage to one of the subject's ability scores. Also eliminates fatigue and improves an exhausted condition to fatigued. It does not restore permanent ability drains. Alright, so yeah. Greater Restoration does all of that. Now, what's very interesting is when you get to 5th edition, this spell has really kind of been nerfed, but before you complain too much, it's also a much lower level. So, Greater Restoration is a 5th level spell, and you imbue a character or a creature you touch with positive energy to undo one debilitating effect. You can reduce a target's exhaustion level by 1 or end one of the following effects on the creature. One effect that charmed or petrified the target, one curse, including the target's attunement to a cursed magic item, any reduction to one of the target's ability scores, and one effect reducing the target's hit point maximum. So you have to use multiple castings of Greater Restoration to get rid of all of those effects. But you're using 5th level spell slots for that instead of 7th level spell slots like in previous editions. So, also in 5th edition, it is no longer simply the domain of the cleric. The spell is available to bards, clerics, druids, the celestial. I think that's the warlock patron celestial. Unity domain, unearthed arcana, and to artificers. All right. Well, this has been our exploration of the Greater Restoration spell. I've been DM Gallibond. This has been Divine Thursday. Hey, if you like all the stuff we're doing here on the channel, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that post notification bell so that you get notified every time new content drops. Also down in the description, you'll find how you can follow me on all of my social media platforms, and you'll find out how you can watch the live stream actual play D&D games I run every week on my Twitch channel. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for dropping by. Hope you have enjoyed this, and we hope that we will see you back here next time for Divine Thursday. Good night, everybody.